Well, good afternoon from the beautiful, if somewhat cluttered study of Pastor Hayton here at the Lighthouse Chapel. Here we are on a Friday with the final Lower Lights Devotional of this week. Been talking the last several weeks about tidbits from the life of my father, and today it's not going to be exactly that, but I do want to kind of point out that maybe my dad was rather prophetic without realizing it. You see, I wasn't as smart as the other kids in the family. I think that my dad realized I was not really a very good student at school. I didn't have any particular talents, and I didn't seem to manifest a great deal of ability to get things done. I don't know what all went through his mind about his second son, but I do think that there were times as we discussed our future that my dad would say, well, maybe you can be a carpenter's helper. Now, my dad, being a house painter on the side, he'd been around enough construction to where he observed that a good skilled craftsman had a helper. It could be that he needed somebody to help him move a stack of lumber. Might be somebody that needs somebody that would go and fetch a tool from the truck. Might be somebody that would pick up the scraps and keep the area clean, but a carpenter's helper would be very beneficial to a skilled craftsman. And as my dad observed that, he thought, well, maybe that's what my second son can do, is to be a carpenter's helper. Well, you know, I think about Jesus of Nazareth, how he grew up in a carpenter's shop, and he was recognized as a carpenter from Nazareth. And when I think about how Christ, you know, in his early years, he mended that which was broken. He built things anew. I believe that Christ surely was the very best that there could be as far as being a carpenter. And when I thought about, you know, Jesus being a carpenter and how maybe he needed some helpers, well, little did my dad know when he was suggesting that I might be a carpenter's helper, that's exactly what I would do. And for the past 53 years now, I've been trying to just be useful to the carpenter from Nazareth. I've been doing my best to show my worthiness to one that mends that which is broken, that which builds anew, that which creates all things new. Think about, you know, the carpenter shop. It wasn't as we sometimes think of a carpenter there in that part of the country. They didn't use timbers to build houses and all. It was probably just kind of a furniture maker type of thing, and perhaps repairing a farmer's busted plowshare, which would be a wood at that time. And so we know that Christ was not only a builder of things, but he also was a mender of things. And I'm so glad that for the past 53 years, I've considered myself to be a carpenter's helper. I'm so glad that that carpenter has counted me worthy to be as useful in whatever way he needs me as I can be. So I'm happy to say today, I'm happy being a carpenter's helper. I'm glad that the carpenter from Nazareth has found that I can be trustworthy and responsible and useful in some way for the building of his kingdom. So it's not too bad being a carpenter's helper. My dad probably wasn't thinking of that when he was telling me that maybe I could become a carpenter's helper, but I'm a helper of the master carpet. Well, I hope you all have a great weekend. Find yourself a place of worship Sunday and enjoy the Lord's Day and enjoy his blessing. We'll see you Monday, Lord willing, here on the Lower Lights Devotional with Pastor Hayton. Goodbye now.